Hi guys, so this is my very first voiceover video. I've never done a voiceover video before, but my in real life friends were telling me over and over again to do some sort of video with my voice, so here we are. I thought a good idea would be to do a Q&A video. I know a lot of people do Q&As to have voiceover videos, so I asked a bunch of my followers on Instagram. My Instagram is Letters to Valerie, and it is always linked in the description, if they had any questions regarding my shop or pen paling or me in general, and so we're going to answer those today. Before we get started, I just want to say that this is a letter I'm sending to my pen pal Nora. She lives in the United States, and yeah, the theme is brown, and this is my first letter to her, which is kind of interesting. And so let's get right into the questions. The first question I got is, how do you get people to buy from you on Etsy, and do your products get flooded within the other products, I'm assuming? So I think that the best way to get people to buy your products on Etsy is to make an Instagram account. It's a great way to market your product and create, like, sort of promote your brand. Everyone's on social media these days, so it's pretty easy to get people to find your account, to follow you, especially if you're targeting a specific community. So for me personally, I was selling to a lot of people in the Bookstagram community, which is basically just a bunch of Instagrammers who love to read. Since I do sell bookmarks, obviously it makes sense for me to target that community. And just make sure that people knew who I was. And also, a good thing that you can try is to find some sort of collaborative sale. That's what I did, and it's a great way to get new customers. Your products can get easily flooded on Etsy because there are so many products on Etsy. But I know that sometimes Etsy does deals where I know right now, I believe that they're having some sort of promotion where if you do free shipping for the United States over a certain amount of money, then they'll put you at the top of the list in the search results. So that's a good way you can try to get more customers. And another way is to have some representatives, which is basically when you get some people or Instagrammers to promote your brand in exchange for products. So basically you would send them products and then they will promote your brand and share it with their followers. So I think that's a really good way to get people to know about your product. Other than that, just be really passionate about what you're doing and make sure that you actually love what you're creating. Our second question is, how did you find your style? So I'm pretty sure this is referring to pen pal style, and to be honest, I'm not completely sure if I found my style yet. What I do right now is pretty consistent, and I do a lot of layering and collaging and just hand lettering, and I think that's a good way to start because when I started I only had so many materials, and so I couldn't do these big extravagant letters. So that's probably the way I found my style, although I would like to try some new things like flip books or different kinds of envelopes that don't involve collaging. Maybe include like stickers or washi. There's definitely lots of inspiration that I found on Instagram and YouTube, so I definitely want to try to expand the way I create, if that makes sense. So the third question I got was, how long does it take you to make a letter? So you guys usually see around 10 to 12 minutes sped up of how I make my letter, but it actually takes me around an hour to create the entire letter, which includes writing the letter. And I do write pretty fast, so it might take longer, it might take less time for you. But yeah, it takes me about an hour to make a letter. But I love spending this time to sort of relax and just watch YouTube or Netflix or listen to music. And it's just a great way to sort of like wind down at the end of a day, or even in the middle of the day. Honestly, just make your letters whenever you want. Question number 4 is, what inspires you? I definitely, like I said before, get a lot of my inspiration from YouTube, and also Instagram. I follow lots of great accounts on Instagram, and so if you ever want to see who I follow, just check out my Instagram account, Letters to Valerie. There are so many amazing accounts on Instagram that have like the most beautiful letters, and I think it's just a great way to sort of get inspiration for your own letters. Yeah, I would also recommend watching some pen pal with me videos, especially if you're a beginner. It's a great way to see how people create their letters, and it can definitely help you sort of find your own style. Question number 5 is, how do you pick your color palettes? So usually I'll ask my pen pals what their favorite color is, and that's a pretty good way for for me to figure out what kind of color scheme to use for one of their letters. Other than that, it's honestly pretty random. I just try to use a variety of colors, so my Instagram feed will have a variety of colors, and yeah. Question number 6 is, what is your favorite part of a letter? So I'm assuming this question is, what is your favorite part to make? So for example, the envelope, the letter, etc. For me, I love writing the letters. I can write long letters. Some of the letters I've written have been up to like 6 pages, but that was on smaller paper. But when it comes to like normal 8.5 by 11 paper, I can write around 2 to 3 pages. And yeah, I just think writing the letter is so special, and I love getting to know people through written work, if that makes sense, compared to digitally. And I think it's just a whole different experience. I also love gathering extras for my pen pals. I think that it's just so fun to like send stickers and washi and whatever. And yeah. So, question number 7 is, how many pen pals do you have? I believe I currently have 16 pen pals, and most of them are from Canada because I'm trying to find a pen pal from every province. Although I'm missing New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, and Manitoba. So, if you are from one of these provinces, feel free to DM me on Instagram. But other than that, I have a few American pen pals, and while I would like to get a pen pal from every state, that is way too expensive. So, we're just trying to keep it at a minimum for now. Question number 8 is, where do you get your paper? So most of my paper that you see in my videos is origami paper from all the crafts and origami I did when I was younger. There's just so many colors, so I think it's a great way to just use up the supplies I had, and instead of letting them go to waste. I also reuse wrapping paper a lot, so if I get a present that's wrapped, I'll take the wrapping paper and use it in my collaging. Or I'll also reuse things like packaging or craft paper bags. So craft paper bags are just like those brown paper bags that you get from the grocery store or whatever store. And I just use that as my craft paper instead of buying it because I just think it's good to recycle. And also use a lot of packaging. So if I ever get anything that has colored paper or patterned paper, I'll reuse it in my pen pal letters. The next question I got is, what are your favorite brush pens? So my favorite brush pens, for the large tip size, I would say is probably the Artist Loft pens. I also have some Tombow dual brush pens, but I personally think that the Artist Loft, which is the Michaels brand, are better because the tip is sturdier, and so it makes it easier to write with, especially for beginners, and also doesn't fray as easily. And they have a pretty good color selection, and they're cheaper, which is always a bonus. For smaller brush pens, I have one Pentel Touch in black that I got from Umomo in Canada, which is Daiso in the United States. And then I also have some Tombow Fudenoske's, the colorful pack, that I got as a present. Question number 10 is, how do you keep track of your pen pals? So every month I keep a list in my planner of all the letters I received, and I also have a list on my phone of all the letters that I'm expecting, so I can just know what letters I'm expecting in the mail. And I also take pictures and post them to the highlights on my Instagram to show what incoming and outgoing letters I have. Other than that, I also have a small pen pal address book where I keep track of how many letters I've sent to the pen pal and how many that pen pal has sent to me. So the next question I got is, do I prefer long letters or short letters? And I definitely prefer long letters. I can write pretty long letters, so yeah. Question number 12 is, what is your favorite goodie to receive in a letter? I love getting washi tape samples and probably stickers the most because I don't have a lot of those myself. So I love receiving them in pen pal letters just because it helps me grow my collection, and I love using the extras that my pen pal sent me in my journal. Just remember though that the extras are not the most important part of the letter, and if you can't send extras, that is totally fine. The letter is obviously the most important part, so don't stress about that. Last question I got is, what is your favorite thing about pen paling? And I think honestly, it's been so interesting for me to get to know people from different provinces because prior to this, I hadn't known that the schooling systems were different in each province. I'm not going to say which province I'm from just to, protect myself. But I just think it's really interesting to get to know people too. I've made so many great friends already, even though I only started pen paling at the end of April in 2020. So overall, it's just been a really great experience for me, and I love getting to meet people and finding new friends and being able to be creative. Like before this, I didn't really have a creative outlet, but now that I've started journaling and pen paling, I can be as creative as I like, and I can also make crafts every single day, which is basically a dream come true. So that's all the questions I have for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed my very first Q&A, and if you have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section and I'd be happy to reply. Other than that, that's it for me. Bye!